You know, this is like precognitive recognition of what's coming. For 10 years, I've had a nightmare that I was trapped at Heathrow in a large crowd and I couldn't get my plane in time to go home to New York, even though I don't live there. And no matter what I did, I'm trying to get on Pan Am, I'm trying to get on British Air. I can't find my way, and the plane's leaving, and then I get on, and there's no seat. I'm trapped in England. Now, I want you to understand something. I've had this dream for well over 10 years. It's a recurring nightmare. Last night I had it again. Now I'm not trapped in England, but I'm trapped from going into England. And speaking of the geniuses who run England, the man who engineered the blowing up of Pan Am 103 over Lockerbie, Scotland, is about to be released. The wonderful Arab, oh, excuse me, you're not supposed to say that. The wonderful worshiper of the religion of peace. Oh, excuse me, I'm not supposed to notice that either. A man with a long Arabic name from the Middle East who blew up Pan Am 103 and killed 200 people, who is in jail in Lockerbie, Scotland, is being released from prison, and apparently he's not banned from the UK. In fact, he's imprisoned in the UK, so go figure. All I did was speak out, and I'm banned from the UK. But a terrorist who blew up an airplane is actually probably going to be invited to the parliament to give a speech. Go figure. I'll be back. Imagine discovering an opportunity that can completely rebuild your retirement fund by 40% over the next 2 years. Does it sound too good to be true? It's not if you take action today. Call my good friends, and I mean good friends, at Swiss America. Gold IRAs have averaged 20% per year growth since 2001. It's just common sense to roll over dead paper assets into gold, the best performing asset of the century. Then you can relax no matter what happens on Wall Street. Call now for a complete Gold 101 DVD and my free CD.
Call toll-free 888-867-8965. That's 888-867-8965.
For nearly a decade, I've told you to trust gold coins and Swiss America. Today, it's more urgent than ever. Get my CD, DVD, and new special report.
Call toll-free 888-867-8965. That's 888-867-8965.
Learn before you earn. Don't just imagine rebuilding your wealth. Do it now.
Call 888-867-8965 today.
I'm Kim Commando. You can keep up with all things digital Monday through Friday in the noon hour with My Digital Minute on Talk 910 KNEW.
And a pink carnation. I'm all dressed up for the dance.
I'm just drifting today. What the heck? What do I care? I'm watching America go you know where in a handbasket. Nothing I can do about it. You don't care. What do I care? The town hall meetings, as you well know, are all Ku Klux Klan members and American Nazis. They're not actual Americans. According to Obama and the people on MSNBC, the only protesters who are actual Americans are those paid for by Obama and the Democrat machine, such as Acorn Thugs with clubs, Black Panthers with clubs. Those are real Americans. But white people in wheelchairs are not real Americans. Only ethnic minorities who scream and yell and code stinkers who throw lipstick and whatever, they're real Americans. And speaking of real protests, how come no one's protesting the war in Afghanistan? I thought there was like no war for oil. For the longest time, every lib said, no war, no war, no war for oil, Bush is a dummy, no war. And now all of a sudden, I don't see anything that says no war. They're doubling the troops every other day to Afghanistan. They say they need 100,000. That's like Vietnam all over again. I personally don't know what we're doing in Afghanistan. Can anyone explain to me why we're there? I remember that when Bush went into Iraq, the libs would call a show and say, we shouldn't be in Iraq, we should be in Afghanistan. That was the liberal credo. I don't know why Afghanistan. Why shouldn't we be attacking France instead of Afghanistan? Why Afghanistan? I don't understand it. We should be attacking Britain for what they do to free speech over there. There are probably more potential terrorists in London than there are in Kabul right now. There are people in London screaming, we're going to convert you, kill you, blow you up. There's probably more potential terrorists in London right now than there are in Kabul. We should send 100 troops to England and save their butts again. So that's why I'm saying, why should I care? Well, here's an update on Frankie Avalon. Born 1940, lives in Philadelphia. He's been married to the same woman till now, Catherine DeBell. That's incredible. That says something. Former teen idol, born 1940, Philly, Pennsylvania, born Francis Thomas Avalon. And how could you have a name at birth that's Avalone? I could see if he was Italian, Francis Thomas Avalone. But how does an Italian get a name like Avallone? A-V-A-L-L-O-N-E. No, I'm not trying to be a wise guy. Because he sang about Avalon, the island off the coast of L.A. And yet it's like a perfect match. You sure it wasn't Abalone when his ancestors came in? And the Irishman at the at Ellis Island said, all right, your name is Avalon? Avalone instead of Abalone? Do they have abalone in Italy? I know they have it in Northern California. Very expensive. $150 for abalone in an Italian restaurant here. What the heck is abalone? It's like scungili, Northern California scungili. It's overrated. With Levitra today, $10 a pill. What do you need abalone for? I mean, abalone. Whatever. No, it's taken a lot of the folk remedies from yesteryear. I eat clams, eat oysters. All right, so it worked. It gave you, you know what. But you got some mercury poisoning. You got some heavy metals and metal poisoning as well. Yes, you might have gotten the reaction you wanted in that part of your body, but you took on a lethal, not lethal, you took on a little burden of heavy metals with the clams and the oysters from the mud. Now you take a clean pill and a Levitra, boom, does the job, and the next day you're fine. Okay, your eyes are off. You get a nice flush. They think that you got a disease like impetigo. You're sweating. They say one of the side effects of Viagra is that you have temporary blindness. I jokingly said when it came out in '98, that's not a side effect. That's a desired effect for old men. That way they don't have to see their wives. I thought that was funny. Never went anywhere. I think I was banned in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania because of that. I think that's where Viagra was made, wherever the factory is. By the time he was 12, Frankie Avalon was on U.S. television for his trumpet. Oh! It's like Dean Martin was a barber. Some people just have talent. Look at that, a trumpet already at 12. Played with Bobby Rydell in 1959's Venus, 5 weeks #1. I remember that. And wherever you went, you heard Venus, if you will. It was in your head, wherever you went. I have a question for you. Let's stop for a minute. This is going to bring a larger social question to the center here on the Savage Nation. In my day, there were men singers. Wherever you went, Frank Sinatra, Perry Como, Frankie Avalon, I can name Bobby Darin. There were some wonderful women singers. Everywhere I go today, I hear whiny lesbian chick singers. Everywhere you go, there's not one man singing. What happened to the men in the music industry? It's always about like a feminist with a nose ring and some kind of tattooing parlor that went bad, that she went to the tattoo parlor and a girlfriend wasn't there, and the needle hurt her, and everything's a whiny song. I don't even like shopping anymore. I can't take the music.
Savage kind of lets everything out. You hear the inner man, how he really feels.
The Savage Nation. Talk 910 KNEW.
With it, get so gay with it, shout no lay with it, wow. Papa loves mambo.
So anyway, there's a lot of things to notice other than Obama being a Marxist. Walks like a Marxist, talks like a Marxist, has policies like a Marxist. It is a Marxist. He surrounded himself by people who are open Marxists. I can name 5 of them. They're proud Marxists. Some of them are proud Maoists. You have a communist regime. Now, if you wanted that, good. I don't think he ran on the Communist Party ticket. I think he ran as a centrist. But fundamentally, you have a guy who wants to take from those who produce and give it to those who don't. I mean, we go back to the Bolshevik Revolution. And the Bolshevik Revolution was run not by black people, not by Hispanic people, not by Asian people, but by white, spoiled brats from the middle class and upper middle class of Russia who were guilty white liberals, who were embarrassed because of the Tsar, and they stirred up the entire Russian nation to kill the Romanovs. And then came 100 million deaths in the last century as a result of this desire for fairness. When it was finally over, 100 million people were dead as a result of the desire for fairness. But if you look at the Bolshevik Revolution of 1917 in Russia, you have to go back to the French Revolution to understand where the Bolshevik Revolution came from. I have studied revolutions, so don't think I'm a novice with this. Obama is a revolutionary. He's surrounded by revolutionaries, and at the end of the day, it's not going to be a very pleasant picture in this country. That's what I think. But I've made my point. Yes, the latest Rasmussen poll says his approval ratings have fallen to a new low of 47%, and that's because he has absolutely mishandled the health care debate by bashing people at these town hall meetings as Nazi, fascist, this and that, calling protesters evil, as Harry Reid did. It's backfiring on this administration. They made a big mistake here. Even liberals are starting to say Pelosi should go. So don't think that I'm making this up. But you've heard all of this before. I'd rather talk about the swine flu. People are dying from it. Do you know that? It's getting out of control. Now, before we talk about the swine flu, like I went today to have a blood test. You know, you get the periodic, the lipids, and this, that, the PSA to see if your schmendrick is still hanging. And I said to the lady pulling my blood, the young vampire, I said, how are you? Not good, lost a relative to the swine flu. I said, what? Yeah, he was healthy, went to this, went to that, and he died quickly. It's frightening. It's like 1918, man. Like, here comes the worldwide swine flu. Now, you got to remember that flu used to have country of origin, like Asian flu when I was a kid. Like, we walk around and go, oh, look, the Asian flu's coming. And no one thought twice about it. I still went to the Chinese restaurant and poisoned my system with those bad chips that they had on the table that killed